Hey guys, welcome back to Miniature Mashup. This week we're going to work on the Bulette. It's a staple Dungeons & Dragons monster. We're going to make our own for $2. As you can see, if you go on Amazon, the cheapest one of these is $10.99. Troll and Toad has a Bulette miniature for $7.50 before shipping. So if you want to have an encounter with a mated pair of Bulette, the least you're going to pay is $20. Unless you do what I do in this episode, you make it yourself, and then you can have two for $4. The ingredients we're going to need this week is this plastic toy hippo from the Dollar General. He's a dollar store toy. I've already hacked his head off here, and he's part of the Animal World collection, same one I use for everything else pretty much on this channel. We're also going to get a dollar store toy whale. We're going to get a lid from a can of greens here. There's a large lid from a large can, and we get that using a safety can opener. I'll go into that later. We need our safety knife, a hammer, some nails, and let's start by hacking the fins off the side of that whale. I used my heavy wire cutter. Sorry I didn't get that on camera. I thought it was rolling. We're going to clean that cut up as much as we can with our safety knife, and then we're going to just cut this whale here. Going to get him right in the middle and slice him here on the seam and just cut down. I'm sure you could use a plastic toy shark for this. I believe there's a bunch of sort of sea predators available at the dollar store, and they're sort of like bathtub toys or pool toys, and they're not great. They're pretty low on detail. They're kind of chintzy, and the plastic feels kind of cheap. It's a little rubbery, but not very much at all. Anyway, we're going to cut that right in the middle here, and then we're going to cut the bottom half of this tail off. And luckily there's two seams here. There's one in the middle and one that goes back, and if you follow those, you can't go wrong. That's where you need to cut this stuff. It's a little tough with the safety knife. This blade probably could be changed, but it's getting the job done. So if you like messing with it right now, I'm just going to cut this tail piece off here. I could probably speed that up, but once you get it cut correctly like this, you'll see it's going to fit pretty good on the hippo, but it's not quite flush. Now I'm going to cut a wedge out of the back of the hippo here, and that's basically so the back of the hippo has a little less structure, and it'll line up better with the whale when I push it down on here. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but that way the hippo will have a little more give when I push it down, and the pieces will line up a little better. At least that's the theory. It's a part you can't see anyway once that whale goes over it. And you see, it's not quite a good fit here, so I'm going to have to get in and just hack at the two pieces. The hippo needs to have this neck area cut off a little bit. I'm also going to cut on the whale until we get a pretty good flush fit. We're getting there. Not quite there yet. And yeah, that's where we want it to be. Now, once we get that nice flush fit, we're just going to put a bunch of hot glue all over the hippo portion here. And we're just going to slam that whale down, and we're going to hold it in place for a while until that glue cools off. We'll get a nice bond. And then we're going to hit the back here and just seal that up. Try to fill in that gap so it's not so noticeable. But there's our Bulette. I mean, if you want, you can just put this on a base, glue it on a base, or use it as is. If you don't want to mess with the painting, you've got yourself a Bulette miniature. Now, this is what the can opener looks like that I use. This thing goes for $8 on Amazon, and it's awesome because this can top is actually a 4x4 base. It's perfectly 4 inches by 4 inches, and it's completely safe. Using the special safety can opener. Now we're going to punch a couple holes in it with nails, and then we're going to drill some pilot holes into our hippo's feet. And once that hole is wide enough to get a little safety screw through, we're going to screw the base onto the hippo foot here, using probably a heavier screwdriver than the one I'm using right here. It just took me a second to find the right one. But once you get that long screw up into that hippo leg, no glue can give you that same kind of holding power. This base isn't going anywhere once this thing's finished. And I only use 2 screws. You don't need, it's got 4 feet, but you don't need to screw all 4 down. 2 will be plenty. Now I'm hacking up a piece of cork here with my safety knife. These are going to be our rocks. And this is a technique I picked up somewhere, but cork make excellent rocks, and they're certainly cheap enough. And with a big base like this, there's going to be lots of room for that kind of texture. So I'm just gluing them down to the base using E6000. That's sort of gel super glue for projects that I like a lot. Use that one a bunch. And we get 4 of those corks down. Looks pretty good. Now I've got our super watered down PVA glue. I'm just going to pour that on the base and then spread it using a very, very cheap vinyl paintbrush. This is the kind of thing that you can get a huge sack of these at the dollar store, and they're really for kids who want to play with like watercolors or something. They're the same kind of brush that comes with a cheap pack of watercolors. And then once the glue is spread, we're just going to dump our craft sand on there and let that sit for a little while, at least like an hour. Let that solidify. I think that's about how long I let this go. And then we're just going to take it outside and hit it with black primer. Let that sit for a while. And start hitting it with base coats. And here's the finished product, guys. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I think it's a impressively large and intimidating looking monster. Really looks like a Bulette to me. So that's it for Miniature Mashup this week, guys. Please subscribe if you're not already. We'll see you again soon.